Janome.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Holiday Open House. As you can see, my countdown Christmas tree is filling up because we're getting closer and closer to the holiday. Let me put the camera on. Today, we are making some holiday jewelry. I'm Anne Hein, embroidery software specialist for Janome America. And as I said, today we're going to be making some holiday jewelry. Not this one. I've had this a long time. But we're going to be making some earrings, a necklace. I'm going to show you how I do that. And I make them like freestanding lace. So I'm going to go back to my first picture so I can show you up close what some of these are looking like. And let me get we can zoom in a little bit here. There we go. So this one here I made in another time. I made it large, and it's more of a Christmas ornament, but then I shrunk it down for an earring. It's a cone. And then this is my dangly star. I have my little tree with a trunk, and then I have my set over there with the larger tree and then the two smaller trees. And so these trees here, I'm going to bring this right in here close like that, and maybe I'll back up just a little bit. I did with this sparkly metallic, but I used that as the top layer. There's two layers to make my freestanding lace, my net fill portion of it. And then here you can see the star on there, how I did the star. In the past, I've done fringe earrings like this. This is something I think I did last year or the year before. I've done fringe a couple of different times, so you can go back and check some videos for that. And then the pair I'm wearing today, I did the same as that crystal-y one, but then I added a bit of garland to it. So, and you can see when I turn it around, the back is mostly the green. You can't see much because that's my bobbin thread. And I do match my bobbin thread to the top when I'm working on this so that I can then it looks nicer on the back side. You wouldn't want to use your white bobbin thread on these unless you're doing them all white, and then you could do that. All right, so let me go back here to the camera. I'm going to go open the software and we'll get started with our creating. Now, this was made with the Artistic Digitizer full program because it has all the fills. The junior program doesn't have all of that. So let's go to the software. Here's my look at the different ones that I've made, and I'm going to zoom in close. This is the necklace and earring one, so you can see I have a layer of the net fill here. There's my garland is on there, and then I've used the top portion of this for the earrings. Down here, I used one of the shapes tools to create my stars. Here's another one of my tree ones. This has a little bit of the trunk on there, which is a little bit of a challenge because you don't want, the first ones I made, I didn't put enough thread in there with the underlay, so it didn't hold together as well. But I was able to save it by using a little bit of glue to push everything together and made the just for that portion of it. And this is that little one I was talking about that's a cone. I've made this in a much larger one, and I use the array fill to fill this in. So that was earlier in the month. You can go check that one out. It's on the page over on the Janome Sewing Machines main page for that. All right, so let's start quickly with the star shape here. So I'm just going to take these right here, and I'm going to copy them, and I'm going to bring them over to a new page just so that we can have them over here and look at them as we go so we can see what's happening. And then I'm going to ungroup them because I'll probably need them ungrouped. Let's make sure sometimes they stay grouped. We'll ungroup that one too as well. Okay, so whenever you copy paste, your items will stay grouped, so you'll need to right click on them and then select ungroup. So to make the star, I used my shape tool, and I came down here to the star shape. In the number of rays, I put 5. You can make yours any way you like, but I wanted the 5-pointed one. And I used the ray size of 60 and the start angle of 90. Now you can use anything that way as well. And then you just click and drag like that. I'm going to drag another one. So I'm going to left click. I'm going to drag to the right and down to create my star. Now, once you have your star on there, I'm going to delete this one since we don't need it. You can resize it to the size that you think is appropriate for your earring. So this one here is about 1 by 1, and I think this one here is a little bit bigger, like yeah, almost 1.5 wide, but 1.25 in height. So you can change that if you want to in here. Maybe I want this to be 1.4. I'm in inches, so if you're in metric, just put 1.4 IN and it'll convert it for you. And this was like 1.25, 1.25. You would use IN and it would convert it for you. You can easily go back and forth. You don't have to change what you're doing. All right. So in here, what I'm going to do is first of all, I'm going to change the inside color, and I'm going to start with a red back here. So we're going to just go red for our first one. And then I am going to delete my outline to start with, because I don't want it. We can add it back in later using the add the auto border. So we'll do that later. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create my net fill. So in properties, now if your properties aren't showing, you can always right click up in the gray area, and you won't see this on my screen, but up here under view, you can drop down and go to toolbars and turn on your properties and colors. And then you want to dock them off to the side. So for the fill, what I want to do is I want to go in here and I'm under fill, and I'm going to choose net fill like that. And I'm going to leave it at the default right here, but I'm also going to change my overlaps to never, because I don't want it to remove overlaps. And then I could duplicate it here. Let's put proportion on, duplicate it there. And I'm going to go to my colors, and this one I'm going to make gold. And I'm going to go back to my properties, and I'm going to change the cell size to 0.055, and that is IN if you're in metric, and the angle is 45 degrees. There we go. So you can see now I have that nice base with which to work with. I'm also going to turn on auto to manual so that I have my sequence menu here and I can see where I'm working. So this is the start of the bottom one down here, the one I'm working on. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'd like to add the little holder that's on here, this little circle and the bottom one. Now this one, once you create one, I just keep using the same one over and over, so that makes it easy. So it's a little circle, and I'm just going to go in, and it's about 1/4 inch wide, a little taller, but you could make it more round if you wanted. So I'm going to go over here to my shapes, to the ellipse. If I could just get it to stay there, there we go. And then I'm going to hold down Shift and drag, and let me do that again. Get my straight circle in there. And then it is pretty close, but I think I want it to be 0.25. So there we go. I don't need the inside, so I'm going to come down here to my used colors and delete the fill. And I'm just going to delete all of this one because I don't need it. Now that is a circle, and it is a running stitch. I would like it to be a satin serial, so I'm going to choose that. And I think I want to make this, let's look at 2.0 mm. There we go. It's a little bit bigger than this one. This one looks like 1.5. So let me put that at 1.5 mm. There we go. And then under here, under my underlay, I'm going to click underlay, and I'm going to change it to netting plus. I believe that's what I did on this one. Or cross plus. Let's go back down here at the bottom here and choose cross plus. Where is that one? Here it is. That gives me enough of the stitches underneath there to hold everything together, and that's what I really like. Now this one was more oval. I'm using a more round one there. Again, you are the maker of this, so you can do it any way you like. And then I'm going to bring it down here and set it right on top there, like so. One of the things now is I want to reorder where this stitches, because I like the little circles to stitch between the two layers here. So let me make my circle here a different color. I'll make it this blue color for right now. And then to realign it, I can just click on it and move it up. So what'll happen is it will stitch the red, then it'll stitch this one, and then it'll stitch that. It sort of holds it in there a little bit nicer. And then for the bottom one, you could do one of two things. You can copy paste your circle down there. So let me get this back on. I don't think I'm quite where I want it to be. So let me move it over just a tad, like that. It's hard to get it exactly where I want it today for some reason. Well, that's way off. Let me go this way. I wonder if my snap is on. Let me go up here to view, grid. Nope, it's not. Okay. There we go. We'll just kind of get it in there somewhere. All right, so you get it aligned, and then I could copy paste it if I wanted to, or undo that. I could actually duplicate it, and it'll put it right in the same spot, and then I can just bring the duplicate down here and put it at the bottom like that if I want to use that. And what I did instead is I created a half circle using the drawing tool. So let me just move this out of the way. I went in here and I used my digitize outline shape, and I did shift because I'm in the context tool. So shift and left click is a cusp node, and that's a straight one. And then just a left click is a curve, and coming back over here is I hit shift and click and I get a cusp node. Then right click and shape. I'm going to select it. I'm going to go to my property. Well, it's red. Let's make it blue. I'm going to go to my properties, and it's a running, and I'm going to make it 1.5 mm. And then on this one again too, I want to change my underlay to cross plus to give it that little bit of extra. Now that one needs to move up. I'm going to delete the second one since it's just going to be in our way. I need to move this one up as well. So I'm just going to put it in place. And then I need an outline around here. So I'm going to choose my gold one, and I'm going to go up here to convert auto border, and it's going to be to the outside. I only need one repeat. I want it to remove holes. I don't want it to sneak in anywhere. And I'm going to use satin serial, and my width is going to be 2.0 mm. Wait a minute, let me get an O in there, mm, 0. And then okay. And now we're all set with that. If you need to adjust, if this doesn't want to look like it's going to give enough room, you can adjust that. This little part up here, see my little I have a little bit of a gap there. So when I select this, it's a satin serial. I'm in manual, so I can go over here to edit stitches, and then I can zoom in, and I could move these stitches just slightly, or I could add a stitch if I wanted to, but I'm just going to move them just ever so slightly. There's like another stitch in there, and there we go. So that kind of fixes that. I could play a little bit more with that and get that just where I want it. So now that one is perfect the way I want it. To get the little one, I'm just going to select all of it. I can actually select duplicate or copy paste like that and move it over here. And while I have it selected, I want to make it 50% smaller. So I'm going to highlight there and put 50. And now it's the perfect size. Down here, I'm going to take this, I'm going to ungroup it, and then I can go ahead and take this away, and I can adjust the blue up here. This needs to be a little bit bigger because it shrunk down. So you can make it by clicking, let me get close in. You can click on the corner and just drag it up a little bit till it's the right size for that piece. There you go. And if you like it a little bit up further so that the point doesn't show, you can actually put it up like that. There you go. You just want to have enough of your star in there. Like this one here, I could move up as well. I could put it more at the top. Okay, so on that part of it. And we're good to go. Let me see what I did on my green one. I'm not going to worry about this. It's okay. Whoops. Let's cancel that. Let's X out. We're okay with that. Yeah, so that'll all stitch just nice. And then you just take it to your machine and stitch it. Now, there's various things you can do. Let's see, did this give itself a pattern? Nope, it's still a satin serial. And on this one, let me see, it stayed at 079. I'm going to redo this. Yeah, it is 079, but it looks a little bit smaller, like something happened to those stitches. Yeah, there's stitches there. Okay. And I would actually turn that to a different color so that my parts are different colors. You could stitch all of one part. You could organize your colors so it stitches all this gold first, then the blue, then the red, if you want to do that. Sometimes you'll notice some pulling on your wash away stabilizer. So if that's happening, then what you want to do is make sure that you are you stitch them individually. Let me show you how I group my colors if I wanted to stitch all of one color first and so forth. So the first color is the red. So I'm going to go down here to my used colors and right click on there and do select by fill color. It's going to collect up all the reds for me. And in my work area, I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to order to front of design. It's going to move it all down out of the way. So the next color, if I go back up to the top, I can see the next color is the gold, and I can right click on the gold, select by outline color, right click up here, go back to order, front of design. It's going to move it in front of the red where it should be. The next color will be the yellow, so I'm going to right click on that, select by fill color, right click in the workspace where it's selected, go to order, front of design, and now you can see I've moved everything in front of the green, and that needs to stitch last, so I'm going to right click, select by outline color, and then I'm going to order that one to the front of the design, and now everything's going to stitch in order. Right now I can see my sequences in parts, but if I click up the top here, I can see the colors, and I know that all of those are going to stitch all the red, all the gold, all the yellow, all the green. All right, so that's how you would group that. So let's go ahead and I can show you how to make this tree here. And then from that tree, you'll be able to make these earrings as well. So I'm going to paste that over here, and I'll bring it up the top so we can see it. Whoops, let me undo that because I don't think I brought over the whole tree. Let's go back in here. Select that. Let's get all of it. There we go. And copy that. Come over here to new and paste it. Now I can slide it over here. Okay, so to create this, I first had to make this one shape at the top. Using your shape tool, the polygon, I changed my number of sides to 3 and my start angle to 90. You could use 60 if you want. I'm going to hold down Shift, left click and drag, and that's going to make that triangle for me. Now from here, I need to edit my nodes to make that shape. And when I hit edit nodes, I just get the sizing for my polygon. So I'm going to go back to select. I have to go to convert to curves. Then I can do edit nodes, and I can edit the nodes on here. I could put a node in here like that and then drag it in, but then I have to deal with the different arrows and stuff like that. So I don't want to do that. What I want to do is I want to put an auto smooth node on all of these edges to make it easier. So I'm going to select the first node here, hold down Shift, pick the next one and the third one. Then I'm going to come back over here and right click, add node. It puts the nodes on there. This node here I'm going to delete because I don't, whoops, didn't need to delete all of that. I just needed to delete this node. Let me right click on there and delete node. There we go. So the other 3 nodes, I want those to be a auto smooth node. So I'm going to hold down Shift and right click and do auto smooth. Now they'll all be the same. Auto smooth will let me just pull it down and make a nice curve. I don't have to worry about the arrows. I want to move these two together, so I'm going to select them. I'm going to do shift, and then I can pull these together or pull them out, whichever I want to go. If I need to bring them down, I could bring them down so I can make whatever the tree shape I'd like to make. So there's my tree shape. And what I need to do now is I'm actually going to I'm going to delete my outline because I don't need the outline at this point. Now I need to make my 3 parts. I'm going to use the copy paste. My second copy, I'm going to make it 80%. And then I'm just going to move it up to a spot where I like it. I'm going to copy paste again and change this to 80%. It just makes it 20% smaller. There we go. So now I have my 3 pieces right there. I'm going to select all of them and I'll right click and I'm going to do shaping and trim. That's going to give me individual parts here to work with. I'm going to select that first one. I'll go to my properties and I'm going to make it a net fill. And at this point, I'm going to change it, the color of it, to something different. I'm going to use this peacock green. From there, I'll copy and paste. My copy is going to be changed over here. I'm going to use, same as I did for the stars, 0.055 for the cell size for the top one, and then the angle is 45. There we go. And this one, I'm going to make a different color. I'm going to use the emerald green, so I have those 2 colors going. I'm going to select my next part and do the same thing, change it to a net fill. Do a copy paste, and I'm copy pasting so that my colors will group at the bottom all by themselves. My copy is going to be this color. In my properties, again, I need to change my copy to 055 and the angle to 45. There we go. And the top part, same thing. I'm going to change it to a net fill. I'm going to copy paste it. I'm going to make it this emerald green, change the cell size to 0.055, and then over here, the angle to 45. There we go. So now I have my 3 parts here. And did I not make, for some reason, I have a weird section. I have those 3. Oh, maybe I didn't change these to that peacock green. There we go. And I need to change my middle one here. Let me undo here for a minute. Something went awry while I was doing this. Moving right along. Here we go. All right, so I'm back to here. I should have the 3 parts down here at the bottom. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to select this one, as I said, make it a net fill, then change the color to the peacock green, copy paste, change that one to the emerald, go back to properties. This is the one I'm going to make the 0.055, which I did before, and the 45 right here. There we go. And then my next section is going to be this one here. I'm going to go into the properties and make it a net fill. I'm going to change it to the peacock green. Then I will do a copy paste, make that one the emerald, go back to properties and do 0.055 and then 45 for that one. There we go. And then the top one, again, net fill, change it to the emerald, copy paste it, and then do the other color, make it 0.055 and 45. So now you have your 3 parts done in the 2 different colors. So you have the one up here and the one down here. And then once you have that, you're going to select all of the top color here. So I'm going to click here, shift and click here. And I want to right click on here and do combine. There we go. So now these are all combined. From there, I'm going to go up here to my convert, auto border, and I have it set at 1 repeat, remove whole, satin serial, and 0.079. There it is. And then I'm going to look at this. I want to select my outline color, and I'm going to select break apart, because what I don't want these parts here stitching, and I also want this to stitch last. So I need to reorder it. So I'm going to right click or left click and drag it down. And now I have the bottom, the middle, and the top. But again, I have these bars in here. So to remove those, I'm going to go to Edit Nodes. I'm going to pop in here close. I'm going to do a right click, split outline, go over here to the other one, right click, split outline, go to the bottom one, select it. Because my Edit Nodes is still on, I can go to the second one, split outline. Let's move this over. We'll go here to split outline. And then what I need to do is select both of those parts. So I'm going to go to select, hold down shift, grab the second one, right click, break apart. And now I have these little bars. I can remove the bars, and it'll stitch just this lower part, the next part, and so forth. And there we have, excuse me, our whole part going up on there. All right. And then if you wanted to add your little garland to this, you would go over here to your digitize outline shape. And what I did is I started with a shift, because I'm in the context tool. So shift and left click is a cusp node, and then I want a curve node. So I'm just going to left click, and then I'll do a cusp node, a curve node, maybe a cusp node there, curve node, cusp node, left click, shift, and left click. Then right click, finish shape. With that selected, I'm going to change the color to this sunflower color. And then under properties, I'm going to make it a running stitch, but I want it to be a bean. So I'm going to, up here in search, I'm going to put the B for bean stitch, click off of it. So now I have that part of it. Now, if you want to make you have to add the little holder. Remember, we showed how to make it in the last one. So let me ungroup this, and I'm just going to borrow this one. I'll do a copy paste because we know how to make it already. And again, this is the one that I want it to be between the two colors. So I will drag this up and move it between those two. So it'll stitch the base, then the gold, then the peacock green, and then the other colors on top of that. So that'll be all done. To create the little smaller tree that's underneath, what I'm going to do is, let me see if I don't know if I break that apart, I might have some weird things happening. Oh, no, seems okay. I'm going to select that, and hopefully it selected those other parts. It did. I'm not going to worry about down there because I'm just going to copy paste. Well, let's do this. Let's undo here. So we have all that, put this back. Let me just make a copy of this, copy paste. So I have one to work with. There's my original. I'm going to keep that one together. This one, I just need the top two parts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can select just the top part. And it doesn't give me this section because I need to break it apart. So I'm going to come in here, break apart. I don't worry about what's happening. I just want to select the top section. There we go. And I'm going to pull it to the side here. There we go. And we have one little section, I think, missing in there. Let me see what happens when I move this guy over to the side. So you make your copy from, your other one, and you just go from there. So this little inside part, that's what's happening. This needs to be probably never. There we go. So that it doesn't remove that. So there's my little earring. I have to rearrange where the top of it is. And then to make the garland there again, I used my Digitize, and I was like, I actually did individual ones like this. So I did N shape there, and then I started again, and I did kind of a row that way. And same with this one here. And I did one, well, maybe 2 rows will be enough. One of the things I did like to do is these 2 here, I'm going to make them this yellow color here, and also a bean. But I wanted them to be before the red part. On this one, I don't mind it on top. This one, you could have it on top or underneath, depending on where you put your little topper here. When you select this one, you can move it to the bottom. So those will fall underneath there. And then of course this little part here needs to be between your 2 pieces at the bottom as well, between here and here. Make sure that's the right one. Oh, that's not the right one. I got to keep going down here. There we go. So it's behind the red portion of it. If you wanted to do the stem, I used my shape and a rectangle, and I made a little for the trunk. Select it, delete your outline. Let's make it brown so it's a totally different color. There we go. And we'll put it over here like this. I want it to be behind my red, so I'm going to move it this way. Plus, I want to go into my properties, and this is where I want to change my underlay to something. Well, first of all, I want to make this a satin stitch, so let's make it satin up here. There we go. And then in the underlay, check add short long. We want all long stitches. Here's where I can do the cross, the netting, or the cross plus. I want to have a lot more stitching in there to hold that together so it doesn't fall apart. So that's how I create. I get my tree done, and for my large tree I didn't put a trunk, but my little ones I did. So that's how you work those. You can move them to a separate page. You want to make sure you save them. I like to save as the draw file first. Then I will either export them. So if this is my good one here, I will copy that to a new page. Let's put it here like this. And then I'll go back. Let's get the little tree, this one, the earring part. I can copy that, go here and paste it. There is one thing I want to show you too. Up here, or maybe it's not showing. Okay. Sometimes you get a little gap in your stitches up here, but they look good. If I want, of course, I'm going to want 2 earrings, so I can do, that was the last thing I pasted. So I can paste it again and move it down. From here, I can save this. I would change the hoop size. I could send it wirelessly to my machine, or if I had a USB stick, I would put it on a USB stick. But I would always do my file, save as first, and save it as a draw file. And I'm going to put it under jewelry here and save. Then I would go back again and I would do file, save as, and I would save it as a JEF file. That way in my computer, I have both the draw and the JEF under my jewelry. And then I can immediately send it to my machine. I don't have to, it's still a draw file. I could just send it to my machine, and my machine's not turned on right now, so it won't transfer over at the moment until I turn it on, because I think it fell asleep on me. So I would just turn my machine back on and I could send it over there. So I don't have to save it as a JEF in order to put it on a USB. But if I want to have a draw copy and a JEF copy in my files, then I want to do save as first, and then use this to put it on your USB. This will give you it'll take you right to your USB and give you the options that you need there. All right, so let me put the camera back on, and let's see here, get back up to the spot I need to be. There we go. All right, so hopefully that'll get you started on making your fun earrings. You can really do any shape. Just remember, you want the 2 copies of your net fill, one of them the regular way and one of them set at 45 degrees and 0.055 IN to make that little crosshatch on the top of it. You can make anything. I did, ornaments this way, any shapes. I've got some other ideas too, candy canes, little gingerbread men, all kinds of different things that I want to do. I mean, it's very limitless, whatever you'd like to do. So get going on your little your holiday jewelry. You can make necklaces or earrings. Post them to our Facebook page over on the Janome Artistic page. We love to see things over there. It's Janome Artistic Digitizer, a great place to ask questions, share your makes, and learn lots and lots. All right, everyone, I'm going to let you go for now. Happy holidays. See you again soon.